So we are live on TikTok and YouTube right now with Sundown Unofficial. If you got any questions, throw them in the chat. While y'all are here, we'll show off some products I think a lot of people don't know that we make. Gonna go and open one of these brand new straight out the box. This is the Sundown Powersports equipment. So Powersports says that indicates it is marine rated, water resistant. We're not supposed to say waterproof, but the typical lingo is waterproof. But there's our Sundown Powersports 8-inch subwoofer. Rated 250 watts. It is a great little inexpensive subwoofer. We also have over here the Sundown Powersports 6.5. Gonna throw those out there. I love these things. They got the aluminum cones. They got the rubber surrounds. I'm a huge fan of the sound. Also throw a few other things out here in the front that's cool about Powersports. So what we're bringing to the table here, literally. So we have some amplifiers we're bringing in for Powersports. These are available right now. Any Sundown dealer can get their hands on these, or you can go to sundownpowersports.com and order them direct right now. So we have a whole lineup of amplifiers, multi-channels, and monoblocks. Monoblocks from 600 watts to 1,000 watts to 1,500 watts. So here's our basic 2-channel. So the 2-channel and the 4-channel, we've got the 4-channel right here, I'll open up in just a second. They come with Bluetooth already installed. So if you're doing these on a side-by-side, a four-wheeler, even if you want to run these in a car, to be honest with you, I've kind of thrown some ideas at a few guys wanting to switch things up and do something like a tablet install. So I run a tablet install on my personal Polaris Razor on my side-by-side. Street legal, it's a badass machine. We're gonna bring more videos of that to the channel. But you can run something like this. So you install this in your car. You want to do a tablet install. You don't have to run any kind of signal wires. No RCAs, anything. You can just Bluetooth your tablet or your phone straight back to your SAM 150.2, or I'll pull the other one out real quick. Your SAM 100.4 multi-channel. You just Bluetooth your signal back there to them. And these things not only have the Bluetooth in, but they also have an output. So you can then daisy chain, Bluetooth your multi-channel, daisy chain out to any other amplifier. They work for car audio the same way they work for Powersports. And it's just a really, really easy way to switch up to some kind of tablet install. Or if you just want to get rid of the head unit altogether, run everything straight off your phone. Most everybody's running off their phone, doing some kind of digital streaming music, like Spotify or something like that. Most guys are doing that anyway. So if you're running a little 2-speaker setup, we got the 150.2, then we got the bigger SAM 100.4. As the ratings would indicate, 150 watts by 2, 100 watts by 4. And they're a little underrated. We'll get those on the Amp Dyno coming up soon. Get some videos of those up on the channel. And then we got the big one. Let me grab it back here on the shelf. So we have this available in a 600, a 1000, and the big 1500D monoblock. So since we offer subwoofers, some guys, a lot of guys, about to do a subwoofer install on my Polaris Razor real soon. They want to run big power as a monoblock, so we offer things like this for that as well. We're going to throw this box down here on the table. So lots of different options to choose from to fit any need. We are working on our own custom pods. Currently, we run pods. I'll show one to you real quick. We run some basic aluminum pods like this. The aluminum ones are our favorite. These are generic ones we get offline. We're working on our own right now. No ETA on those yet. So get something here cool for us to talk about. Let me get sat down and logged in here so we can check out some of the comments. Videos. Yep. All right, what's going on? right, here we go. Yeah, be patient with us, guys. Jerry and Kyle are running a little late. Yep, click on it. Yep, hello everybody. All right, so I'm just now getting logged in. So if you have, I'm logged in on YouTube. So if you have some questions there, go and post them up. I'm getting two XV315s for my Tahoe, trying to figure out what I should tune my box to if I want to hit the lows real good. So to me, tuning is kind of a preference. And with some like X15s, those are going to smash the lows really well. My personal preference, I prefer to tune around 32 hertz. But if you want to adjust it slightly lower, you are capable of doing that. Those have a good low end extension. But personally, I think for the typical daily driver, somewhere between 30 and 32 hertz is what I think you're going to like. Again, when it comes to tuning and how you want your sub to sound, I don't know everybody's preferences. Sometimes I like some of the slowed down music, some of the real smash the low stuff that's don't even dig deep, dig in that 20 hertz range. And yeah, typically with something in that 30, 32 hertz with some X15s especially, you can do that. So that's going to be my recommendation there. Matter of fact, so when I did the initial box designs and all the recommendations for all of what we call the Megrel stuff, all the sundown platform, and going way back to the original ZV4s and the Megrel V1s, we built a bunch of enclosures, did some testing, did some frequency responses, and one of the fads we saw coming into car audio back then that we tried to kind of capitalize on in the beginning was the smash the lows movement, as I call it. Guys really wanting to smash that 20 hertz to 30 hertz range. And that's where subs like this with the big sundown frames, the Megrel surrounds, that's where they shine really well. So in building all these different enclosures and doing a bunch of R&D and kind of dialing in the soft parts, the spiders, all the suspension with these subs, we did something that would accomplish those goals. Even something that I've got specs. This SDDN 15 we got here, about to shoot a video dedicated just to it, about to shoot a video right after we do this tech talk thing. But we got subs that have FS down in the 30 hertz range, so they work real well. But all those recommended enclosures where say something like an X12, we're going to recommend 2.5 cubes. I see guys wanting to go bigger, and I can tell you from experience, there's absolutely no reason to go bigger than 2.5 cubes on something like an X12, Z12, Nightshade 12. 2.5 will allow that sub to dig as deep as you could ever want it to go. And again, because we tested it, we built different enclosures and we tested that. So in those enclosures, like the 2.5 for a 12, the 3.5, 3.75-ish for a 15, that was all to allow those subs to dig deep and smash those lows. We literally did all that testing. I spent days just building boxes and testing out different stuff. All right, let's see. Powersports batteries are awesome. I run 2 of my Razor 1000. Yeah, that's I do too. That's we designed the batteries, and I don't have them in here. So we do have Sundown Powersports batteries. They are AGM batteries. I consider they're the greatest batteries on earth. They work, and we designed them in a specific size to fit side by sides like the Polaris Razor. So I run a pair in my own personal one. Brandon's got a Razor. We have a high lifter. So we have several different models. Mine's a turbo Razor. Brandon's is a new Pro. And we have the company has a high lifter. It's the only non-turbo one we got. We got a high lifter 1000. They're all 4-seaters. So we designed the bigger battery. The SPS 1500 is the main battery, and it's a direct swap. This exact size fits in that exact location. Literally drops in without any issues, without anything special. You just drop it right into any Polaris Razor. We make the secondary battery, the smaller one, is made to do as a dual battery setup. So if you own a Polaris Razor, there's an extra little pocket right next to the main batteries, just an extra little hole there. A lot of companies make dual battery setups, so we decided to do the same thing. So we made a secondary battery. It's a little bit smaller. It fits right in that little pocket next to the main battery. You just wire them parallel together. Parallel, positive, positive, negative, negative. Works great. I run just those 2 Sundown Powersports batteries, AGM batteries. I run those 2 on my side-by-side, and I have a Sundown 150.2, and I'm using it for some of the Bluetooth features as well as powering my tweeters. And then I have a pair of Sire 3500s that actually run on my pods on my own Polaris Razor. And I can sit there and play that thing. As you know, they don't have an alternator. They do have a little stator in there that helps charge. It's not worth much. It's worth barely maintaining the batteries. But with those 3 amplifiers on there, and even with I currently have 8 tweeters, and I went back to 4 pods. I've had as many as 8 of our big Vex Pro 8s on there. But I can only have 4, but two 3500s and the one with 50.2, I can run an engine off on those 2 batteries without issue, without any major voltage drop. They perform very, very well. And they're pretty inexpensive too. You can check them out right now on their site, sundownpowersports.com. To explain something with that also, before I get much more into another question, we've created the Sundown Powersports kind of as its own brand. So you got Sundown Audio, which is more the car audio side of it. Then you have Sundown Powersports, which is the Powersports side of it. One of the things we didn't want to happen early on, where we've been territorial with some dealers for the car audio side, we didn't want to have your typical brick and mortar car audio dealer, and they all have access to the Powersports lineup, have them get it, stock the product, and then say we got it, the Yamaha, the Honda, the Polaris dealer, somebody down the street, which who we're trying to really market this for. We don't want those guys to have issues then getting the Sundown Powersports product because of territorial issues. So we treat this as a separate brand, Sundown Powersports, and it don't really have the territory protection like the car audio brand does. So if you got a Yamaha dealer on one side of the street and you got a car audio Sundown dealer on the other side, both of them can easily get their hands on this product. That's why we did things like that. So you see things like the sundownaudio.com, sundownpowersports.com, etc. There's reasons we split things up. So let's see, did I miss another question here? My son busted a 12 Sundown. Should I just replace it or should I rebuild it? Well, first question would be, what model is it? And do you feel confident enough? You come on in.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing this today, sir.
Dude, we do it every Thursday.
Oh, Thursday.
I thought you were aware.
Okay.
Okay, so Kyle's here.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Yeah.
Who else is in here? You got
Well, Jerry said he's running late.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do oh, yeah, we want to do something different for today. Do the table.
There you go.
Tables and chairs.
Nice.
Product.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in here.
Do you mind if I set my TikTok on?
No, go ahead.
All right.
You got a tripod or you need one?
I'll just lean against something.
Okay. I'll say there's another tripod there, but I don't have a top mount piece for it.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll be right back. You just started?
Yeah.
I apologize. I'll be right back.
Oh, no sweat.
I won't prepare for this.
Take your time.
Sorry, dude.
Dude,
You love the setup, dude.
All right, so my son busted a 12 Sundown. Should I just replace it or should I rebuild it? So first, again, I'll start with what model is it? If it's something smaller like an LCS 12, just buy a new one. They're so cheap, they're not even worth rebuilding. You get up to something like an E12. E12 drop-ins are fairly inexpensive. Off the top of my head, I want to say they're around maybe $65, $75. I'm not positive on that. You can buy the drop-ins, all the rebuild kits, which will come fully assembled. We don't sell recone kits as parts. A lot of the companies, when you buy a recone kit, you're getting a box with a coil and a spider and a cone, and you're going to get all these different parts that you got to then basically assemble from scratch yourself. We don't do that. We're going to sell you what we call a drop-in. So it's going to be an entire pre-made piece ready to where you're going to clean your gasket, or not gasket, your surround landing, your spider landing, clean those up, after you cut all your old soft parts out, and you can just glue it right in. Shim in the middle, drop your drop-in in, which is why I call it drop-in. You just drop it in over your shim. You can use paper for that. Just tighten up that gap where the coil is. Let your spider glue dry, surround glue, get that dry. Pull your shims out, glue your dust cap on. So yeah, when it gets up to something like an E12, they're really, really inexpensive to buy the drop-ins for. Those are available right now at sundownYardSale.com. So Sundown Yard Sale, to fill that in, why we got the different websites, is kind of our little direct thing. So a lot of the used product, B-stock product, even some bad product, a lot of product that I test in this room. If you glance that way, okay, yeah, you can catch the back of a shelf over here, and you'll see a bunch of different stuff on the back, some boxes on the floor. If you look around this room, I got product everywhere. So I do batch testing from different batches of product that come in. We do batch testing. We still do a bunch of QC stuff. When I bring product in and I'm really beating on it, like you see me done with some of these, I don't feel comfortable then selling it as new. So a lot of that stuff will go straight to the yard sale, and we just sell it direct through sundownYardSale.com. In that same sense, you can buy things like we got banners for sale. I'm doing a live feed right now. All right, we got banners for sale, different type of things on there. We also do all the drop-ins. So any drop-in you could ever want to rebuild your Sundown subwoofer, we've got all those listed on the Sundown Yard Sale. Just go in there, click the drop down, choose what you want. Shipping and all that's included in the price. So you can rebuild something even like an E12 fairly expensive. Now, the biggest thing I would come to when I'm telling somebody yes or no if they want to rebuild their subwoofer is, are you capable? If you're capable of doing it, to me it's a fairly simple process. But if you're capable, yes, I would highly recommend anything from the E12 on up. It's worth a rebuild. LCS 12, they're just so cheap, it's really not worth it. All right, so let's scroll on down. I'm running a no wall 318s, 6 cubes per, 1 salt 8 per. Which sub would be better, SDDN or NSV6? SDDN all day long. I don't have the Nightshade version 6 in here. I had it in here this morning. We were playing with it. I actually got on TikTok live this morning and showed it off a good bit. We beat on that NSV6 for an hour and a half at 20 hertz. Now, it wasn't full tilt the whole time. Every now and then, to answer some questions and doing things, I would turn it down, cut the noise down a little bit so I can answer some questions. But we went pretty much nonstop for an hour and a half with that NSV615, powered by one of our prototype amplifiers, the Saya 8K. That's real. We got one right here. And it's an awesome sub, but my heart goes to the SDDNs. This is it right here. This is SDN 15. The 18s will be the last to be built going forward. So we're doing everything in batches per how dealers ordered them. And we started with smaller sizes. So 10s went out first, then 12s, 15s. 18s are going to be the last one, the bigger sizes to get built. But SDDN versus NSV6, SDDN, it's got the motor spores, it's got the bigger coil, it's got the extra thermal power handling. It's going to win my heart in that battle, no doubt. The downside, a downside at worst to be price, but honestly, I don't even think we've released what the NSV6 pricing is going to be yet. So if that's not your big concern, SDDN all the way. Very important to note, SDDNs are all coming dual 1. So if you're running a solid in each, you're running at half, which will be plenty of power. You'll have way more than enough power on tap. And get your pre-order in now. So SDDNs are a very limited run. They're only building 500 subwoofers total. That's between all sizes, 10s, 12s, 15s, and 18s. There's only 500 models, 500 pieces coming in. That means 500 motors. That's it. If you want one, get it on pre-order and do it ASAP. A lot of the big dealers online, like Big Jeff online, Down for Sound Shop, they already have theirs on order. Dropping Hertz has a bunch on order. So get with those guys, get them pre-ordered ASAP because they are going to run out. There will be limited supplies. You should get a Sundown distributor in Alaska. We actually have a dealer up there. Alaska Traffic Company is the name coming to mind. We have a dealer up there. They will ship. From what I've talked to about Alaska and what's going on up there, they will ship. So anything you need, if you're in Alaska, hit up those guys. We freight forward stuff up there to them all the time. Yeah, Sundown's very popular in Alaska, surprisingly. Hold on, we just looked. All right, the F of my B4 is 27, 18 inches. Okay. There's a question with that, but NSV 4.5s. Oh, hey, that's Joey. Yeah, I think Joey, your NSV 4.5s, they had to be machined out on that top plate, machined out, run that bigger coil. It's a big beefy coil. And typically anything, if you go up to a slightly looser suspension, will lower FS, and heavier moving mass will lower FS. Yeah, I just don't have the top piece, but if you want to figure out a way to hook it up to that or lean it against something, whatever.
Gotcha.
You take your pick.
Well,
I don't know where in the world Jerry's at. He's really running late today.
Well, he's doing all those RMAs, so.
All right, when would the Z8 come out? There is no ETA on the Z8. I mean, 0 ETA. We just did initial testing on it. The initial testing, it was built as a Frankenstein. It doesn't even have the original cone, spider. The only thing we kind of have that's going to be used as a production part is the coil. The Z8 steps up to a 2.75-inch coil, and I took the Nightshade 8 back up there too, I think. I don't know where if I had it. And the Nightshade 8 is going to run a 3-inch coil, as I believe the way it's still set up right now. The NSV6 8, which is the Nightshade we currently have, is NSV5 on a 3-inch coil. The NSV6, it will get its own mini Nightshade motor. Is going to be for the 8. Jake released that info a week or so ago. And as far as I'm aware, it's still going to be a 3-inch coil. Z8 runs a 2.75-inch coil, similar to what we run currently on our SA version 2s. But no ETA. Those things are all Frankenstein parts. We're still working on getting all the parts brought in so we can start making those. Do I need to separate an Optima battery from the D4S LTO 6.0? Maybe add a selector or something that doesn't drain my main battery. Yes. Yeah, anytime you're trying to mix different battery chemistries, which I don't recommend at all. I recommend whatever bulk batteries you're running, keep all your batteries the same. If you're running AGM, run all AGM. If you're running lithium, run all lithium. So like most guys that run the big lithium banks in the back of their rig,
Sorry, buddy.
they do a battery delete up front because most lithium batteries aren't recommended to be under the hood because they're heat sensitive. Now I know there are things like the Titanate from Excess Power. They are insulated. They are under hood safe and recommended for that. But yeah, don't ever mix battery chemistries. Now, that being said, if you're going to do it anyway, where you got an Optima and your D4S LTO, your lithium, yes, definitely put some kind of disconnect in between them. It could be a basic isolator to where every time you cut your car off, your isolator is going to break that connection, keep everything separate, which is what you're referencing here, having some kind of select or whatever. They make really good battery isolators. It'll basically have something that's got a remote that goes to it, where every time you crank your car up, it's going to flip that switch and get them together so that your alt up front can also charge your lithium in the back. But my biggest recommendation is going to be run all the same battery chemistries. That is very important. Mixed match chemistries. Even when doing something like if you took, say, an Optima and an Excess Power AGM and ran them together, you will have issues eventually. Battery chemistries do not like working well with each other. Can X series soft parts fit used series subs? So that answer is yes, but you got to be real specific here. Basically, U series and X series both run 3-inch coils. So cones, spiders are sort of interchangeable, but I'm gonna say it depends on which way you want to go. If you currently have an X motor and you want to run U series parts, I would recommend switching up to a whole U series top assembly. Get the frame. The parts, like if you're on a Mega Roll should match a Sundown frame. A U cone should match a U series frame. That would be the biggest recommendation I'd make there. All right, now if you want to run a U top assembly, as in frame, spider, cone, all that, run that on an X motor or something. That is very capable of doing it. We've actually built several kind of hodgepodge Frankenstein subs like that. We do it all the time, and they work out really well. Even my own personal build, Project SPL, I'm running our Neo motors, Neo V3s right now, but I'm running a complete U top assembly with them. So it's got an SPL spider, U18 frame, U18. Well, I've ran U18 cones in the past. I currently have the really nice carbon fiber cones. Got them from Directronics. Dan hooked me up there, and so that's what I'm running. But yeah, I actually prefer the U series top assemblies over some of the Mega Roll stuff because I'm not so much for smash the lows guy.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh, you're all good. You got a good angle.
I got what I got.
Yeah, I know. Mine on TikTok up here, it kind of cropped it off, but you're still like, I don't know if you can get in where I'm at, but basically where my tablet's at, it's still, I think, caught corner to here. It had a pretty good view.
Okay.
I'm hoping that I can get TikTok brought up on my laptop where I can answer some of the questions there.
Well,
But I've got a ton of questions coming in through YouTube right now. There you go.
There we go.
All right, next question. I have 2 Sundown Salt 8 300 amp alternator. Each amp should be wired a quarter. Do you think they can handle that in a ported wall setup? Quarter ohm is very rough on amps, especially daily. I won't say I haven't done it. I've definitely done it. You got to be very picky in what you're doing and how you're running it, and definitely pay attention to things like heat of the temperature of your amps. Sundown amps come with the nice new remote knobs that have the temp built into it. Pay attention to the temperature of your amp. So here's what happens when you run it at low impedance like that. If you go from 1 ohm to half ohm, you're essentially doubling your current output, and current creates heat. In any setup, especially when running with subwoofers, high voltage, low current, you can get away with more power with less heat because that current is what induces all the heat. So when you start wiring things lower at half ohm, you're doubling your current. Quarter ohm, you're doubling it again. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of current output from your amps. This also gonna induce extra heat into your subs. So I'm not gonna recommend it. I can't do that. If you said you're running Salt 8s at half ohm, send it. You'll never have an issue. You run a quarter, you're really putting some abuse on the amps. Pay very close attention to the temperature of your amps and voltage. Because so what happens with voltage? Here's the reason everybody says don't run low voltage. So there's kind of a myth I need to attack going forward, and maybe I can get one of one of my buddies from Amplab, get Ethan on a live feed with me or something to help answer this. So when it comes to voltage, low voltage itself is not so much a killer of amplifiers. The problem that happens is you take an amplifier, and if it's a 1500 watt amp and it wants to put out 1500 watts, it's going to take your voltage and your current to output wattage. So in typical terms of power, everybody speaks in wattage. Even when so funny things with a lot of alternator companies, they'll actually speak in wattages as well, voltage and current, volts and amps for the wattage output. Well, you take your 1500 watt amp and it wants to put out that 1500 watts all the time. Well, when the voltage starts dropping, in order for it to continue putting out the power it wants to put out, current has to go up. So that's what I'm telling you with the guy wanting to run his salt amps at quarter ohm. If impedance goes down, current goes up. Well, the same as when you're trying to get 1500 watts out of an amp, or a set amount of power of an amp, when your voltage goes down, current goes up. That creates heat. That extra heat will cause hell to your amplifiers and all your cardio equipment. Heat is deadly. Heat can cause transistors to fry, voice coils to fry, all kinds of issues. So that's the big thing with voltage. Yeah, try and keep your voltage up, keep your current down. I also recommend the same thing when it comes to amplifiers. A lot of people are just, I want to say they're cost conscious. I don't want to say cheap, but cost conscious. So they try and get every last watt they can out of their amplifier to the point of running them at things like quarter ohm and overdriving them, and that can cause hell. Like just pay attention to your equipment, guys. You'll see a lot of shows, guys, running these big multiple alt setups, and they've got fans on them. They're blowing fans because alternators actually aren't supposed to be 100% duty cycle. They're very, I want to say, even some of the best alternators are only like 50% duty cycle. You put them on a show like that where you've got your idle turned up and you're sitting here trying to hold them, around 2,000 RPMs or so, and you're really trying to get that 3, 4, 500 amps out your alternator nonstop. Yeah, heat's going to become a big deal. Can you pull up your TikTok feed? And see your charts?
Unfortunately, my Samsung tablet does not allow me to even have TikTok on there for some reason.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Because mine's a Samsung too.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have to.
I'm just trying to get it see if I can get my TikTok pulled up where I can watch the comments there as well as I
can watch the comments here if you want for yours, and you can pull TikTok on that if you want.
Well, I was gonna just multi-screen it here,
Okay.
but right now I've got plenty of comments coming in on the YouTube.
Okay. Somebody asked. Oh, okay.
I'll say if you got some questions coming in.
I was just gonna read them to you because you're more technical.
Okay.
And stuff.
Here we go.
Someone was asking about the sound quality of the SA series coaxials versus the E series components. Is there a big difference in those two? I know the series are different, of course, but
so this is going to be a very opinionated question. As anything sound quality is definitely subjective, but in my opinion is yes, there is a big difference. If you're looking for, say you buy a car, you got some stock speakers in your doors, your dash, where your factory speakers are. If you're running factory stuff, they usually go with that factory stuff is cheap. They're just made to be inexpensive, but for these manufacturers. So if you're looking for a great replacement speaker, there's some E's over there. It might even be below. Yeah, that's an E. That's an E coax. So if you're looking for a great replacement speaker that's going to be inexpensive and better than your factory stuff, the E series, like this E series coaxial, is a great option. That's what it's made for. It's meant to be inexpensive because there's a lot of things you'll have cheap, quality, and fast. You get to pick two. So this is one of those. You want an inexpensive, direct replacement that's going to sound good enough. This is your E series. Now I don't want to make that sound like they sound bad. They don't sound bad, but they're not meant to be a super SQ type speaker. They're meant to be inexpensive and a good factory replacement. Well, then you step up to your SA series, like the SA coaxial. You'll see we get this beautiful carbon fiber cone. And this is a real carbon fiber cone. These come on the SA 6.5 coaxes. We got them in 6.5s, 6x9s, and the component sets. With the E series, we also add the 5 1/4 and the 6x8. So we have those in the 6.5 coaxials, 5 1/4 coaxials, 6x8, 6x9, and then the 6.5 component sets. But these step up to a whole nother level of sound quality. But with that comes price. So you're going to get a lot better sound. You're going to get a still a factory replacement option and better sound, but it's going to come at a little bit more price tag. My recommendation is definitely the SA 6.5 coaxials.
Yep.
This is what I'll be doing installing my own personal truck, my daily ride. I've been putting off finishing up that install. I've got 2 sets of these, so I can do some coaxials in each door. Of course, the great thing about coaxials is your tweeter's already mounted. So as long as you got the mounting depth, you don't have a door that needs something super shallow. If you got the mounting depth, Your tweeter's already installed here. It's a matter of pulling your factory speaker out, doing something with your wiring, depending on how you want to do that. If you want to cut your plug or use an adapter plug, wire it, bolt it in, you're done. You switch up to a component set. You're typically going to have to do some kind of fabrication, get that tweeter up, and if you have a factory tweeter location, do some kind of mount, get your tweeter up there, whatever. So coaxials is the way I recommend everybody to go.
Yeah, coaxial, very easy replacement. And speaking of that, we've got the E series and the SA series in stock at caraudiobargain.com. So we'll get them shipped out fast if you're interested in any of these replacements. Definitely the SA series, in my opinion, like Derek said, these things scream. So.
Yeah, and 99.99% of the time at Cardio Bargain, you're going to have same day shipping.
Yep.
As long as you order it while they're business hours, they're still open.
That's your component set.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So you can also grab one of those SA 2.5s right there, 2.75s. Yeah, we'll show them off while we're showing. So talk about some factory replacement stuff. A lot of your newer GM trucks and a lot of the Chrysler vehicles, Chrysler, Dodge, they run a 2.75 inch. Even some of the Beamers run a 3-inch mid channel, but these were made as a direct replacement for them. So if you're running a GM truck where you got the 2.75 up in the 8 pillars, something like these 2.75s, they're inexpensive. They are great sounding. I actually built a sound bar out of these a long time ago. It was our first ever prototype sound bar. We do have a Sundown Powersports sound bar now, but I built a sound bar out of these. We even still run, I don't know if y'all can get it in your view, but I got 2 of them up here. I use as a little mid-range depending on what we're testing. I run some 2.75s. These things are beastly. I mean, if you for a little 2.75 speaker, if you can see the motor on that, and they're quite hefty, but these things work very well. They're awesome, and they're fairly inexpensive. Great factory replacement option. Let's see. Can I get a sub with similar frequency response to the U series, but with more RMS for music with high notes? So the closest thing I would probably recommend to get something like that, if you're looking for more power handling, you're going to go up something like, say, a Z series, like currently be our ZV6. A ZV6, and if you want to get to that more traditional sound, ZV6 with what we call the SPL cone. So you get a typical mega roll, which you can see right here on this SDDN. We also offer an SPL cone, so that the cone itself is the same, but it just changes the surround. And it's going to give you more of that traditional punch. You can then adjust your other soft parts, your spider in here. You can adjust that a little bit, just depending on how much you want to shift that frequency response up. But typically, I would say take a stock ZV6, add an SPL cone, and it's probably going to do what you're looking to do. That's going to be my recommendation there. See, next up. So with those amps, you don't even need a head unit at all. Incorrect. He's talking about the Powersports amps right here, the SAM 150.2 and the SAM 100.4. Both of these have Bluetooth built in. Now, also be very, very specific. Only the Powersports multi-channels, the 150.2 and 100.4, have Bluetooth built in. The mono blocks do not have Bluetooth built in, and there's a reason we did that. Bluetooth adds cost, so we wanted to keep the bigger mono blocks, which are available in a 600D, 1000D, and 1500D. It helps keep them a little less expensive by not adding Bluetooth in. But in every setup I've never seen somebody just add subs to a side-by-side. Right. You're going to run a 2-channel or a 4-channel. You're going to run it first. So you get one of these, you get your Bluetooth capability, but these have the pass-through output capability. You just run your output to your mono block, takes care of all that. And like I explained earlier, you do the same thing in your car.
I actually have one of those in my glove box in the Cadillac.
Oh yeah, you did that where you run one of these in your car. Anybody doing tablet install, it's one of the first things I recommend. Like, hey, you're doing a tablet install, you don't want to deal with any kind of converters or anything coming out your tablet, trying to go to any kind of DSP or whatever. You install one of these in the back, Bluetooth straight to it, run your output to your sub amps, bam, you're good to go. No head unit needed at all.
That was very nice.
All right. Will I win base wars because I'm using Sundown? I don't know. That's a great question. No, we'll tack that question this way. Sundown Compact Neos have won more cardio competitions, and this is not an opinion. This is a fact. I'm a competitor myself. I was at DBJ Finals last year. I should be at IASCA Finals and MECA Finals this year. I've been competing for a very, very long time. My first cardio competition, I think, was in 1997. And since Sundown Compact Neos come out, they've grown to be, without a doubt, the most winning sub in car audio. Period.
And I for the people in the back.
I will put those stats up against any other manufacturer out there. Even manufacturers been out a lot longer than us. Had Neo subs out a lot longer than us. I will gladly go head to head with anybody. I will put the Neo Compact V3 head to head with any other sub out there, any other manufacturer out there. This is what competition is about, and I'm a competitor at heart, always have been. Let's go. So yeah, the stats prove it. You can go to the stats from DB Drag Finals, which is the loudest allowed cars in the world. The majority of people there ran Sundown audio. Let's see. What's best place to find something to use as gasket material between the sub and the box? Your basic hardware store. We've used any simple weather stripping. You can buy a gasket at Lowe's, Home Depot, simple weather stripping. They make it in different thicknesses and widths. Stuff like that works great. I've used it plenty of time in the past. I'd like to see you guys come out with a line of SQ drivers that cater to home audio. So, funny enough you say that. When you get done, I'll have you grab something there behind you.
Yeah, what you need? This guy?
Nope. There's a little 18.
The little 18?
There's a little, is the bottom right? You're going to see an 18 with a little motor there.
Yeah.
Is it a pain to get to?
Nope.
All right, so if anyone doesn't know, here in the same building as Sundown Audio, there's about 8 or 9 different companies all in the same building. We own the building, Sundown Audio. But one of the companies we've worked with for a very, very long time is a company known as Stereo Integrity. Stereo Integrity is owned by Nick Clemens. Him and Jacob were college buddies way back when. They've known each other forever. So this is the budget Stereo Integrity Home Theater 18. This sub sells for $199 over the counter. We also have these little guys from Stereo Integrity. So these things are awesome. This is the new TM8. So if you're talking sound quality, this is where it's at. Could Sundown one day come out with SQ specific stuff? Possibly. In my opinion, the SA series component sets, especially the new V4s, they're on the way. Those with the new SA 3-inch mid, they sound really good. I think Sundown gets a bad rep for being typically stuff like this: big bass, big boom, big low end stuff. So they get kind of a bad rep of not having good SQ, but that's just not the truth. There's a lot of technology and a lot of these subwoofers things, as far as inductive springs and a lot of stuff that's beyond my understanding. It actually makes it sound really, really good. But if you want SQ right now, we're not trying. Again, Cemetery's the same building. We're good friends with these guys. If you want SQ, that's where I'm gonna tell you to go. We're not trying to compete with them on that. But yeah, if you want a budget 18, we actually handle something other people might not know is Sundown in the warehouse out here that I manage. We handle almost all the fulfillment for the big stuff like this. So the SIQ amps, the SI home theaters, different things like that. We handle all the fulfillment for it. It's all the stuff's in our warehouse. The orders will come straight through to me. Process fulfill it. If you want a great budget 18, this is the guy right here. $199. These things sound great. They look great. They perform awesome. You can't beat them for the price. Let's throw that aside. Who's up next? And yeah, so and speaking about home audio as well, Stereo Integrity, these 18s, you can use them in home audio, car audio. They're good everywhere. We've actually even done some setups with some big Z series, big ZV5s, whatever. You can easily just go to this Megaroll cone, soften up suspension, heavier coil, shift that FS. Typical home theater subs are going to have a very low FS, and you can build a ZV6 very, very easily to accommodate those needs. Next, all right, quick question with the SDDN. Is it 510s, 512? No, yeah, I answered again. So it's 500 pieces total. That's the total between the 10s, 12s, 15s, and 18s all added together. There will only be 500 pieces. So basically, we're only bringing in 500 motors. That's it. Now, if they get built as 110s and 312s and 100, 15s, then so be it. But it will only be 500 total between all sizes, all pieces. It will not be 500 per size. It will be 500 total. All right. Hey, Derek, thanks for taking time out of your day to do this. Hey, no sweat. We're going to try and do this once a week, every Thursday, Tech Talk Thursday. Just get in here and answer some questions. And, you know, it's something you don't see a lot of companies doing. You don't see a lot of companies doing the massive social media push, trying to put themselves out there, answering questions, showing the behind the scenes stuff. That was the whole point of me starting the unofficial channel. We have the official social media that we keep a little more professional, but then we have the unofficial stuff I do on the side. When I created it, my biggest thing was to show the behind the scenes stuff. And the behind the scenes footage that you don't get to typically see from other companies. And that's other companies across the board, not just car audio. Well, I wanted something that was just leisure and laid back. And I think it's worked out well. A lot of guys can relate a lot better. We're just some normal dudes. I'm just a dude out here working in a dusty warehouse. But I get to do some pretty cool stuff when I get to come into the room and play around and figured, you know what, guys, let's bring you all on this journey. Let's show you a lot of the R&D we do. And I'm trying to expand on that a lot more right now, get back into the videos. Coming up, I'm honestly trying to come in early every morning, start up a TikTok live feed, just get in here and just beat on some stuff and let y'all see the type of R&D we do. Or even when it comes to something like this little SML right here. So here's our little shallow mount SML10. Well, we don't just go to a catalog and pick out stuff and say, hey, send that here. I will say this is open tool frame. So most of our stuff, we do a lot of custom tool things like the SML frame here. Let's have a patent on this. This is open tool frame, but that's where it stops. Everything else here had R&D, had custom design work done, and had a lot of thought and design and process put into it, as well as testing. So we do this day in and day out. That's how we come up with a lot of RMS ratings. We actually get in here and beat on them and test them and figure those out. So I figure what better way than to share those experiences with the public and let y'all see. At the same time, a lot of companies I've seen complaints of customer service, people not being able to get questions answered. Funny enough, we get those complaints a lot. We get people all the time saying they can't reach us on the phone, they can't get certain questions answered or get things done. And so this is just another avenue. We're trying to put ourselves out there, say, hey, here we are, I'm available to the public. If you have questions, need some help, jump on the live feed. We'll try and get you taken care of. Next up, speaker cup. When is the yard sale getting restocked? There is no exact ETA. The yard sale is going through a rebuilding process. And you can try to think how long I will make this story. So the company has been officially going through a lot of big changes. Our dealer network has changed. Our distributor network has changed. A lot of the online stuff has changed recently. The yard sale is also going to undergo a humongous change. We don't have all the details ironed out yet to how that's going to change. So when that change happens, you're going to see a massive restock of the yard sale. We've got probably 8 skids of stuff at least. I've got put to the back, still a bunch. If you've ever been to the shop and been outside my office door, we still got several skids of stuff there. It just kind of chills there. But we started collecting stuff in the back corner. It's there, it's inventoried. We're just waiting to figure out the details of the changes that are going to be made to the yardsale.com website. And when that happens, bam, you're going to see a massive restock. I just don't have any ETA of when that's going to be yet. As always, we say about the yard sale, it's a back burner thing. It's a back burner project. It's a low priority. We don't
advertise it.
Yeah, we pretty much don't try to get out there. Don't try and draw attention to it. We don't try and compete with dealers about it. It's just something we have there. Just let some of the bad B stock random product just get flushed out that way. But trust me, when the restock happens, there will be a notice. There's a group on Facebook. I was posting in there, pretty regular here and there, but we'll definitely make post in that group. I think it's just a sundown yard sale. It's just called the Facebook group. So I'd say get in that group and just watch for a notification there. And once we get that restock done, we'll let people know. Let's see, can you use a subwoofer at home? You very much can use any subwoofer at home. If you want to use any of these subwoofers in your house, you can. The main difference between your home, the room you're setting up a substage in versus a car is just the size. Running a sub in your house would be to a small room of a house would be similar to running a sub in a big car. So a lot of guys are going to have do something like, say, a little 6.5 inch subwoofer, which won't be nowhere near as meaty as this. You're going to have in a basic little port enclosure. So and here's a good tip for y'all. And actually I have it here. I don't want to pan the camera over. I have a sub enclosure in the corner of this room. It's This is a massive room. In case you can't tell from the video, this is a massive room. I've got a single 15 in a port enclosure. It's firing sub and port firing into the corner. If you want to get better bass from your home audio, take your home subwoofer and corner load it. That's gonna corner. It's basically gonna load your subwoofer and load that sound similar to the way it happens in, say, the trunk of a car or in the back cargo area of an SUV, and it will exponentially multiply the output of your home subset. But yeah, in that sense, you can run any subwoofer in your house. The main difference between home specific audio is a lot of times your subwoofer is going to be dialed in for a lower FS, and that's it. Who we got next? I want to see you set a score with a 3-inch coil sub at, let's say, 35 hertz. Then use a 4-inch coil and see how many watts it takes a 4-inch coil sub of similar motor force to hit that same dB score at the same frequency. That's a good one. The last time I did a similar test, and I'll just speak this from experience, but this is all old stuff. When we first came out, the original Team Sundown subwoofer, 4-inch coil. A lot of people think going up that extra moving mass and all reduces efficiency, and that's not always the case. That's one of the reasons that the SDDNs here, the compact Neos, the new V3s, they actually went up to a bigger coil. They're 3.3-inch coil down. There was no efficiency loss. They actually gained efficiency. So at the time we came out, the original Team Neo, the V1, or Team Sub in general, excuse me, not Team Neo, Team Sub Ferrite, we came out with the V1, it was louder per watt than the biggest 3-inch coil sub we had at the time. I did that test, and it was louder even on those low notes. I suspect when the Team comes back into production, and yes, somebody had asked the question earlier, why did we discontinue the Team series? It's not completely discontinued. We just stopped with that current version. We had a Team Ferrite, we went through a V1, went through a V2, we had the Neos. It's just waiting for its next revision. So we're just in a little low period, waiting on Jake to finish the design. I think he's already got several designs in his head. Some of the stuff I don't even know as far as what's going forward design work. But the Team Sub will make a return at some point.
Well, speaking of making a return, what we got here, Dirk?
This is the SAZ 1500 15th anniversary edition. So the first ever amplifier that Sundown Audio produced was the SAZ 1500, and it was an absolute tank. Back then, in the mid-2000s, back then in 2006, when Sundown Audio was started, 1500 watts was a decent amount of power. And I think 5K was about the biggest amps you could really get your hands on then. Bigger amps were starting to come out and get more popular, but 1500 watt was a great amp, great price, great budget, and it was a super popular amplifier. Actually, I owned several myself before I was affiliated with Sundown. Before I worked for Sundown, I actually owned 3 SAZ 1500s, which is how I got in with the company and got to knowing everybody and doing work with them.
So is that how many they actually made of them?
Yep. So there's only 1,515 ever made. There is I'll say a limited quantity of 1,500's a lot. But yeah, 1,515 pieces ever made. Each one of them is also custom laser engraved, so each one of them is serialized with what number you have. These come with a different finish. So the old one just basically had an black anodized finish. These now have the new gloss black finish. They come with obviously the 50th anniversary laser etching on there as well. They're a beautiful amp. And they are on sale at a just ridiculous price.
Right.
I don't know if y'all updated.
I think we have.
Okay, yeah, these are on sale at a ridiculous price. Just blowing them out. I did an amp dyno video Tuesday. I stayed late, did an amp test Tuesday on this. So if you haven't seen it, you can check it out on the Sundown official YouTube channel. We got 2,500 watts out of this amp. I'll just go ahead and spoiler alert that. But yeah, SAZ 1500, so it's rated 1,500 watts. Just depending on how you run it, 12 volt to, it is 18 volt stable, so you can run at high voltage. We did just typical normal testing around 14 volts. And yeah, some of that testing, we got as much as 2,500 watts out of it. And it's a beast of an amp. These things. And another thing about the SAZ 1500 that's unique is when it was first came out back in the beginning of Sundown days, it came with a half-ohm warranty. And one of the things I kind of preach, and this isn't warranty anymore, but when it comes to the big quality amps, the Korean amps like the SAZ 1500 there, and like our Salt series, you will not blow an amp by running a half-ohm. That alone is not going to blow an amp. Now, we don't warranty them for half-ohm use, but this is another thing I try and get into a little bit of detail about is when you run an amp at half-ohm, the half-ohm itself isn't what's going to destroy it. What's going to destroy it is heat. Heat by, if you don't have proper electrical and you have that voltage drops, current draw goes up, creates heat. Same with dropping from 1 ohm to half ohm, your current output is going to double, creates heat. You can, big thing, monitor the temperature of your stuff. That's why salt amps come with the really, really nice remote knobs. You can watch voltage and watch your temp right there on the knob. Pay close attention to that.
Somebody said they ordered a SAM 100.4 and a SAM 1500 for their side-by-side. He ordered an Access Power PS 1200L. What fuse should he run to each amplifier?
So it was a 100.4 and a 1500.
Yeah.
So the SAM 1500, we're going to recommend a 150 amp fuse. The SAM 100.4, you should be fine with a 50 amp fuse. If you run in separate fuses. Let's see who we got next.
Any updates on the X 6.5 sub?
There are no updates right now. So there is one more batch of V2 X 6.5 subwoofers on the way. There's kind of a delayed batch. It's just the same old sub that we produced before. Again, there's a lull in ordering. This is a delayed batch. Very, very limited pieces coming in. Haven't dialed in yet exactly how they're going to get split to which distributors, but keep an eye on them as soon as they land, which I'm told is going to be very soon. The ETA I'm giving is going to be within the next month. The X 6.5 V2 subwoofer is supposed to be back in stock, and they will be distributed out to distributors and dealers once they land. As far as the V3 version, I don't have an ETA on that. There's no update I have to give.
I have one question here. More or less wanting to know if, of course, the SDDNs do have recones available for them. Their parts are in to build them, so yeah,
Yes.
we've got recones ready to go. If you need some recones already, Lord.
Yeah. Well, I hope nobody has a recone already. They're just now getting the dealers. I know Big Jeff should already have his 10s in stock. I shipped them a week or two ago. Audio Shop will be receiving their SDDNs this week. Down for Sounds, we're waiting to finish up the last of their 15s getting boxed, and they'll be shipping out tomorrow or possibly Monday. They'll have them in stock within the next week. But God, if you've already got an SDN and blown it,
Right.
Holy moly!
So all those guys already got in on the buy-in or the
Yeah.
pre-order. So that's why
Yeah,
they're getting theirs first.
We started pre-order last year. I think it was November. We first started pre-order, and we had a bunch of dealers jump on the pre-order very early, and they're the first ones to pre-order, the first ones to out the door right now. But yeah, when it comes to recones, most of your parts are a standard part we have here, like the mega roll cone and surround. The only thing kind of really, really unique to the SDDN is going to be your 3.3 inch coil. Other than that, similar things like they come with their own triple joint ring. But yeah, we have those coils in stock. Drop-ins will be readily available when you need it. Hopefully you won't. Guys, let me tell you, I've beat the snot out of these SDDNs in here. That just put up yesterday an SDDN 12-inch specific video. We put the 12 on the bench, wired up to our SIA 8K, and I absolutely beat that thing to death. Showed it off, showed the excursion, what it's capable of. All the TS specs are all in that video. All the, what I call mechanical specs, the schematics. So your outer diameter, your cutout, your mounting height, all that stuff's in that video. Go check it out on the Sundown Official YouTube channel.
And it's just gorgeous, the whole thing. Wanted to know, someone asked about the Vex. Is that your most SQ line speaker that you have?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Again, when it comes to SQ, it's subjective. So I don't know if I would say it's the most SQ. Now the Vex sounds good. It sounds great. Let me not say that. It sounds great and it gets loud. The big thing with the Vex, what stands it out above the other ones, is it adds a ton of low end. The Vex almost gets really full range in its sound with the Vex speakers, the 8s and the 10s, and soon to be Vex 12s coming into stock. So if
Vex 12s.
Vex 12s will be coming in stock very soon. I don't have a firm ETA yet, but I will say within the next couple months, possibly within the next 1 month, we will have Vex 12s in stock. So when you go to a Vex versus say a Neo Pro, you're going to add a bunch of low end to it. Now the Neo Pros are great. If you're not looking to add a ton of low end, I would just tell you save a little bit of money, go with the Neopro. Neopros sound great. They sound absolutely phenomenal. They're just going to have a little bit higher of a cutoff on the bottom end than what say a Vex is of the same size. My personal Vex 8s, I run them in small, tiny pods on my Razor. Carbon fiber cone is waterproof. We don't rate them for that. I don't recommend you taking them off road, but I've done it a lot. I've gotten them muddy. I've pressure washed them.
That's what I got at the bottom clip of Vexes.
Yeah, they do really well out in the weather. So I run Vex 8s currently on my Polaris Razor, my side by side. We'll have it this weekend out at Triple Fest. I'll have it there if you want to come give it a listen. It usually stays dirty. The speakers stay dirty. But yeah, I run them in small sealed pods, and I will totally run these things down to 20 hertz without issue. I would recommend some EQing down there, so you will have a little bit of roll off. But I'll typically play them to at least 80 and start a roll off. But I will play them on a lot of rock music nowadays, all the way down to 20 hertz. They'll do it without issue. So hopefully that answers your question.
Did Sundown ever make a 24-inch sub?
Sundown did make a 24-inch sub.
Do they ever plan on making another one?
We do not plan on making another one probably ever again. So the 24-inch sub, looking back on it, it was kind of a gimmick thing. A lot of people, when we say a lot, the internet in general had a lot of people say they wish they could get a bigger sub. And there was other companies have bigger subs, 21s, 24s. There's 32s out there. I'm sure somebody's seen some of those bigger ones. And so we decided, like, all right, the internet says they want a 24-inch sub, so we made a ZV5 24. They didn't sell that well at all. Some distributors,
you can't put those in the back of your home.
you can't just buy a ZV5 24.
How much volume did it take for those?
Man, my personal recommendation for a single ZV5 24 was 20 cubes ported.
20 cubes.
That was what my math, judging by the specs we had and everything, was 20 cubes. Now we recommend on the small side you to have at least 12 foot ported, 12 cubic foot. To me, that was still small. We've seen some guys take a pair of 24s, try and go in larger SUVs, like your bigger Suburbans, whatever.
Sterling.
Yeah, they did that. Sterling did 2 24s and a big fourth order wall, which fourth order then takes even more volume. That's the biggest downside. Besides just the sheer size of them and mounting them, they're not going to fit in almost any car out there. The box volume was massive, and they didn't sell that well, so we decided to discontinue them. But yeah, I looking back on it, I call them a gimmick. They're cool that we did it. They're cool to own. And honestly, if I could still own one, I'd probably get one and just throw it here and just let it sit here as a showpiece. I've got a good display set up in our front office now with all the pedestals that we built for Knowledge Fest. In between shows, I set them up there, and we throw some of the random products we're working on, a lot of the new stuff, prototype stuff. That's a product I would have and just set up and just show off just for that reason only. But as far as any practical use, the bigger subs like that, when you get past the 18, the bigger subs just start to get really, really impractical for the average guy to use.
Let's see, you got a question. I'm trying to, if you see one, I'm trying to find. There you go. Oh, right there.
Having an issue? This one?
Yeah.
Having an issue. I'm new to car audio. Set up a new old amp, 1500.1D Hyphonics monoblock, ran off a Kenwood DMX 4707S. 4-gauge wire runs, 145 amp volt. My problem is I can turn the gain all the way up. I can't turn the gain all the way up, is what you're saying?
Maybe.
All right, so the only piece of information, here's the big relevant thing I'm looking at. You're running a 145 amp alternator. That's stock size for any recent vehicle. That's really not that big of an alternator. You didn't mention any batteries, any extra batteries. 1500 watt amps are about the max you can do on any kind of recent up-to-date car. Most of your cars nowadays are going to have anywhere from 105 as much as 160s. I'm not aware of anything bigger than that. I'm sure some manufacturers got something bigger, but a 145 balls is about equivalent to a stock alt. Between that and a stock battery, 1500 watts is about the most you can get away with without any electrical upgrades. And you seem to really be pushing the limits there, especially if you're talking 4-gauge wire. If you're running at 1500 watts is the point where I will recommend. You can get away with it at 4-gauge with no extra back. Gain goes all the way up. I'm still kind of missing the question. You're complaining your gain can go all the way up. If you're having an issue of not getting the proper output from your amp, make sure to monitor your voltage. you're probably going to need some electrical upgrades, especially if your 1.5 amp alt is a stock alt. A lot of your stock cars will have cutoffs where it'll claim some 145 amp alt. You're probably not going to get 145 amps out of it. Between that, if you don't have any kind of battery upgrade, even just one battery on the hood, I'll still recommend somebody do at least some kind of good AGM upgrade to something like an Access Power D3400, something like that, and to help maintain that voltage. So if you're not getting the output you need, that's going to be a problem. That's where I troubleshoot it first, is go check your voltage. See if you're having bad voltage drop. 4-gauge wire, again, that's, especially if it's CCA, you're having issues. 4-gauge CCA will not carry current well at all. If any 100 watt amp, you should be pulling at least 150 amps. 1-aught CCA, you're good to 150 amps safely. But this is the point where I tell you, get some good OFC wire, upgrade to 1-aught wire, get you.
OFC.
He has 4-gauge OFC?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 4-gauge OFC, you're really pushing the limits of that at 150 amps. It should handle it, but the way you're going to know is to check your voltage drop. Now, if you're saying the problem is you can turn your gain all the way up, and you think that's a problem, as long as you're getting the output you need, that's cool. Turn your gain all the way up. If you're turning it all the way up and you're still not getting good output, well, then you're having a signal issue. Could be an issue with your RCAs. Could be an issue with your head unit. The head units nowadays, I'm a fan of simple is best, especially when it comes to head units. When I did the touchscreen in my personal truck, I did not buy the highest model available. I did not need a lot of the crazy extra features. They throw so many extra features in these head units nowadays. They're just tacking on higher price tags. If you don't need them, go with the lower model head unit. Get rid of the crazy stuff. When it comes to setting up some of these EQs, between the EQs and the fades, and they don't just have your typical left to right, front to back. They've added all kinds of extra stuff now as far as slave settings, subwoofer outputs, dedicated stuff like that. So my next thing would be go through, make sure all your output settings are all good in your head unit. Make sure there's no funky EQ stuff. Make sure you don't have a sub slave output set to like a negative setting, anything like that. Those things where you're basically diminishing your voltage output on your signal side, your RCA voltage output. When you diminish that, you have to compensate by doing more gain. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. Just check your RCAs too. I mean, one bad RCA can just make a whole system sound horrible. Plenty of times in Clippo, we were trying to figure out why we weren't getting the output we were supposed to be getting. Jiggle some RCAs, they go bad. I mean, even sometimes you get a bad set. So I mean, always check your RCAs. Go from a different amplifier to just always check the RCAs because
Yeah, and then the RCA model matters. The quality of your RCA does matter. A lot of your cheaper RCAs, they're made out of CCA wire. They won't be coated CCA or nothing. They're just made to be cheap, and they will use cheap components inside. You might get away with some cheap RCAs and never have an issue, but I have seen tons of issues from those cheap CCA RCAs. Here's a good thing to know. If you're buying an RCA and it doesn't specify that it's using OFC inside, there's a reason. It's probably because it's made out of CCA. And CCA is known. If it's not coated to have issues,
you get what you pay
weathering
for.
issues.
You get what you pay for.
Yes.
Yep.
You will see signal degradation.
What we got here?
So this is the Salt 1.5. So I don't know how popular it is on the internet yet, but we've been stocking Salt 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 12. And so a year or so ago, we produced two smaller models, the Salt 1 and the Salt 1.5. They're produced for a specific distributor of Southern Audio that wanted to make these models for them. We made them. They've actually become a little more popular. And the agreement we have with that distributor is we would make these models just for them. We did. And they would have the sole rights to them at that time. Well, that agreement is done. The time has lapsed that they got a head start on everybody else by producing these. It's done. So Salt 1s and Salt 1.5s are in the works for the mass public, for all dealers, all distributors. They're in the works right now. Time frame. If I put a time frame to it, I'd still have to put probably a good 3 months. I'll tell you, they're in the works. But ETA wise, let's give it a good 3 months before they're going to come and stop. Once that happens, all dealers, all distributors will have access to it. They are beastly amps. I will be doing a full Salt 1.5 amp dyno video coming up very soon. But for now, there are some short clips, shorts. I think it's on TikTok, YouTube shorts, some Facebook Reels. I think I do have some shorts of that one performing. Spoiler alert, the Salt 1.5 will easily do over 2,000 watts. In typical sundown fashion. All amps are underrated.
Are the SDDN motors interchangeable with parts? Say I want to go from a 12 to a 15.
Yes, all SDN motors are the same. Whether you got a 10, 12, 15, 18, the motor is identical between all of them.
But it's only D1s.
Yes, the only coils available are D1s.
How about the release date of the three-way components?
Oh no, I do not have any ETA for that either. Here's all I can tell you about the three-way components. The the SA V4 component set has been approved. Everything's good to go on it. We're still doing some R&D on the SA 3-inch mid. The 3-inch mid it's off in Copo right now, getting a bunch of testing done. There will be some more revisions to at least one more revision, potentially 2 more revisions. Some different changes are going to be made. So the holdup is when the new component sets come out with the 6.5, the tweeter, which I have those here, but between that and the 3-inch, it's going to be what we're calling an a la carte style setup. So it won't come as a pre-assembled set. So dealers, distributors will buy the mid, the tweeter, the 3-inch if you want that, the crossover network, everything bought separate. So if you just want to do your 6.5 and tweeter, you can buy just those pieces. If you want the factory crossover with it, cool. If you want to run active and not have to buy crossover, cool. So that's going to be a little bit of hold up in getting all that stuff in stock, because the 3-inch still has to go through at least one more revision to get it down in. What are you looking for?
That tweeter.
They're right there. Oh, look right there in the phone. The tweeter and the mids right there.
Where's the old mid or the old tweeter?
Oh, old tweeters over there.
What's up?
So yeah, here's your new SA 6.5 V or SA component set V4 crossover. That's the coaxial. That's actually not the component mid.
Oh,
That's the V4 coaxial. And but the mid's gonna look identical. It's just in the form of that phone piece. Yep, that's gonna be a 6.5 mid right there.
New guy.
So there we go. So here's your basic 6.5 and tweeter component set, as we put it. But these are gonna be sold individually to dealer distributors. So if you want to run just a 6.5, just a tweeter, cool. If you want to add a crossover, cool. If you want to add the 3-inch mid, cool. If you want to run 3-inch and tweeter, you can pre-assemble it any way you like.
We'll show you the difference in these tweeters.
That's an SD tweeter.
There's a SD tweeter.
There's an SA one over there too.
There's an SA one.
Yep. Look at the box down the middle. Red box right there, on the left side.
Let's see how get closer. Tell me when I go. So you got the new one, the V4 and the V3.
Yeah. Can you come here? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm on a delay over here. Yep. Perfect.
That's how much bigger
Get my
though.
little side shot. Oh yeah, yes. The new V4 tweeter.
Hand model.
Again, when it comes to SQ, it's all subjective, but in my subjective opinion, it's a massive upgrade going to that new tweeter.
I couldn't read my comments on TikTok.
You got some TikTok comments.
Oh
now.
man, I got 53 people now. They must be bored.
We'll go ahead and we'll start with some of your comments if you got some there. And I'll see if I can get mine up. What
amp would you recommend for SA12 V2? Sell 12K.
For a single SA12. Single SA12. I guess the one we just looked at, Salt 1.5. Yeah, no. Salt 1.5 would be a minimum. Salt 2 would be better. If you want to go something a little more budget, something like probably like a Saya 1750 would be a little more budget there, or as little as a Saya 1250. But it'd probably be the Salt 2 would be my most optimal. But that's going to be your most expensive option. If you want something more budget, Saya 1750.
I'm going to shoot some questions to you.
All right.
You just keep them short. Can a Salt 12 handle half ohm?
Salt 12s are not rated at half ohm, but as I say all the time, you will not blow an amp up by running it at half. You will blow an amp up by doing something else to it that causes it to overheat, which is overheating is a byproduct of running low impedance. So you keep your voltage up, keep your temperature down. You will not blow a Salt amp up at half ohm.
ETA on the X8 V4. I think we just discussed that. I'm sorry.
No, we discussed some others. We didn't discuss the X8 version. So X8 V4s, they are actually I think production's already wrapped up on them. They are produced and on the way now. If I threw a rough ETA, I would say a month or so.
Give me back.
But there's no guarantee on that. We see transportation delays all the time. So as early as a month, we have the new X8 V4s in stock. I am taking one of the production models we had expressed over really quick. There will be one with us this weekend at Triple Fest if you want to come check it out in person. 2 weeks from this weekend, we're doing 2 shows: Knowledge Fest Orlando and Made of Steel. It'll be the same weekend. So basically, we're driving out early, setting up Knowledge Fest. Some of the guys, Brian, Sean, and I forget who else. They're gonna work Knowledge Fest. We'll have an X8 V4 on display there. Me and Brandon are heading on over to Dover, Florida, to Made of Steel. We'll be at Made of Steel all weekend. I'll have one on display there as well. So that's the next 2 shows coming up. Is Triple Fest down in Muscle Shoals, Alabama this weekend. We'll be there with one on display, and we'll be at Knowledge Fest in Orlando in 2 weeks, and Made of Steel. Have them on display for y'all to come check out.
Now, will you all be having a Slamology booth?
Yep, we'll be at Slamology. We're at Slamology every year. We put on a massive display up there. It'll be full of demo rides, full of new product, full of merch for sale. We'll have cool hats and swag and lanyards and all the cool little decals will be for sale up there. Yeah, definitely come check us out at Slamology. That's always one of the big premiere shows for us. Every year we try and go all out and just put on a massive display. That one, and then Sundown Show.
Don't see much.
You're out. I'm trying to flip over to get my. I don't know if I can see my TikTok live. How do I do that?
Jerry, could you show me how to? Give me 1 second.
You should be able to just swipe up.
I swiped up and I seen stuff.
Maybe.
That's not it.
That's
This is
exactly.
Jerry's phone, you gotta look at it.
That's what I was.
It's not as dangerous as Derek's phone now.
Well, I got your live up. I can't get my live up.
I don't have to get my
Watch the
laptop.
question. Maybe I'll figure the TikTok out one day.
There you go.
All right, let's see what we got back.
That's you.
Oh, BPS 6.5. Here's all I can tell you. BPS 6.5. We also just ran out of stock of 8s. So if you see the BPS 8s in stock at any distributor dealer right now, and you need some, buy them ASAP because they're going to run out very fast. We just ran out last week of the BPS 8s here in the main warehouse. The 6.5 and 8s, they're in the works. That's all I can tell you guys. I have zero ETA after that, and they're in the works, and we're trying to get them back in stock as quickly as possible. We did not expect. We brought in the Sundown Powersports line, which we got a bunch of the amps here. I would gladly show you off the BPS 6.5 or the 8, but even some of the display models I was holding in here for random testing and things, we ended up putting them in installs and selling them too, because people needed them so bad. We had no idea the BPS 6.5 would sell out. We brought in a lot of them, and they sold out so fast it was ridiculous. And yeah, we weren't prepared. It caught us by surprise. Got overwhelmed, and yeah, we're working hard to get those back in stock. But just be patient with us; they're on the way. I just have no ETA I can give you.
Your stash.
Yeah, is that
This is a
prototype?
Yeah.
So we're gonna sell
It's
this
essentially
prototype.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the prototype BPS 6.5s. This one uniquely, I don't know if you can see it from back there. This one also has a carbon fiber cone. So some of the different things we've been playing with, obviously, like I run Vexes with carbon fiber cones. They're waterproof. They look cool. But yeah, this is a BPS prototype, carbon fiber cone, coaxial, great speakers. To me, insanely cheap prices. They're very inexpensive. They're great sounding. They work well in off-road. They work well in cardio in general. We're trying hard to get them all back in stock, guys. Here's a good question. Is the SFB line gone, or will it come back? So, pretty much all SFB monoblocks are unofficially discontinued. There are still some in stock that I think we're finishing closing out. SFB multi-channels are still in stock. Those are not discontinued yet, but the SFB lineup has been changed, has progressed into the Saya lineup. So Saya has that new Sundown Intelligent technology. SFB's got a bad rep. We put them out. We put out video after video. I told people over and over again, do not run these things at half on. Do not abuse these amps. do not do this to it, do not do that to it, and everybody did it. Everybody on the internet thought they were smarter than me, and thought they knew better, and thought they could just do whatever they wanted, and the amps would just keep up, just like typical old school SAZ or salt amps. And yeah, you cannot abuse SFB amps. So to protect the customer from themselves, these guys abusing these amps, and we created the Sundown Intelligent Amplifier. So the new Sion lineup has a smart protection in there. So if you try to abuse the amp, it's just going to dial itself back. It's not going to let you run it to the point of blowing it up. It's not going to let you wire it low. Guys still ask me all the time, can I run my Sion amp at half ohm? And the answer is no, don't do that. And then every time I hear a complaint, hey, I've got a Sion amp and the output's cutting back, I'm having issues with it stuttering or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you're trying to abuse the amp. You're trying to run it at half ohm. You're trying to do something wrong, and that's the intelligent protection dialing the output of the amp back to stop you from blowing it up. So every time I hear someone complaining about something like that, I know instantly, without even seeing your system or knowing what you're doing wrong, I know you're doing something wrong. Stop it. Don't do that. These are budget amps. You cannot abuse them. That also includes the Sion lineup. Do not try to abuse these amps. You're going to have issues. It's just going to throttle back, and you're not going to get full output. These amps work great at higher reactive loads, so don't worry about running it lower, running it at half ohm, trying to get every last watt out of it. Run it at 1 ohm when you're supposed to. Treat the amp like you're supposed to. Provide the proper electrical. Don't get an 8,000 watt amp and try and run 12 gauge power wire to it. We've 100% seen that. We saw a bunch of guys buying SFB 8Ks and trying to run them in their stock 2000 Nissan Altima with no electrical upgrades, and then they're wondering why they're having issues. So the SFBs were replaced with the SIAs. They now have intelligent protection and to prevent the customer from destroying their own products, and that's the way all that's going to go forward. Hopefully, we'll be proceeding with the multi-channels also moving into that Sundown Intelligent technology. That's the goal going forward. But right now, the SFB multi-channels, 1,000.4s, 504s, 1,805s. I'm trying to think of the whole lineup.
204s.
Now, 204s are out of stock, and I don't know if or when we're going to bring them back. 204s are out of stock. The rest are still in stock right now. 504s are in stainless. Oh, sidetrack. I told you we were out of 504s. Somebody, we still got some left. Somebody moved them because we got low.
I just ordered some.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'll get those to you as soon as we get done with the live feed. But yeah, 504s are insanely low. So if you're a distributor or a dealer and you need some, you better get your order in ASAP because they're insanely low, and we will likely be out probably Monday, Tuesday. That soon. They're that low.
No, you will be.
Well, that's the goal. Is to click to sell product.
This was the prototype. I'm sorry, 6.5 prototype.
Yep, that's a prototype BPS 6.5.
BPS.
That's why it's got the carbon fiber cone, different from the typical what I call gloss cone you saw on most other BPSs.
Right.
So this one you'll see it's fully sealed. We got the little gasket in here to protect it around the horn. Coaxial, so we got the horn face. We got the waterproof cones around all that. We got the sealed backing on it. Even though if you're mounting this in any off-road scenario, you really should have this sealed in some kind of enclosure as well. I don't recommend ported applications for off-road for those reasons, but yeah, really good sounding, good budget mids right there.
Sundown Powersports.
SundownPowersports.com. We've been going for a while. There's still questions rolling in pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see how many people we got here. Yeah, Jerry, what happened to you? What is the date for Sundown Show this year? It is August 19th.
August 19th.
Now, Jerry was supposed to be in on this. He was due here an hour and a half ago. He showed up on the side a little bit ago.
What's up, Chris?
I don't know what happened to him, but yeah. So Sundown Show is we always try and plan it the third weekend in August. So whatever date that falls on, third weekend in August every year. This year is going to be August 19th, Hickory Motor Speedway, old school NASCAR track. That track is as famous as it gets for circle track racing. They still do races there on a regular basis here all throughout the summer. So yeah, we've got a really good relationship with the owner up there and all the guys that work there. It's been a great place. We got with this year's. I think this year is actually our 10th anniversary.
Yep.
For Sundown Show.
It
This
is.
will be the 10th Sundown Show we've had.
It's also same place, the track, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So the very first Sundown Show we had at our old shop back in Claremont,
Yeah.
and we did not predict it was going to be that big of an event.
The cops didn't either.
Yeah, we had all our permits. We were in good standing with the city. The local city is a little small town that our manufacturing facility was in. We were in good standing. We actually went to town hall, talked to our local representatives there. We got the permits. We actually talked with the police chief. Everything was good to go. And then hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people showed up. We had a really big facility there, a really big, a lot of land, and we filled that place up all the way around, every which way. We had cars down the street. They got over 600 noise complaints that day, and the police showed up about an hour or so. We had a strict 6 p.m. curfew, and the police all showed up. They brought in the whole police force of this small town, and I think they even had the off-duty cops show up just in case when they saw how massive this event got. They brought them all in. They all showed up. I thought they were going to shut us down early, but they were nice about it. They were like, look, we're getting a bunch of complaints, so we have to have a hard curfew at 6 p.m. So they stood around for that last hour just to verify. They're literally at 5:59 and 59 seconds. They're looking at me like, turn it off.
Down.
That's it. Shut it down. So after that first year, we was like, all right, we gotta move it somewhere bigger, better. We can get away from noise, and what better place than a racetrack? And that's one of my biggest recommendations. Anybody looking to have a show, I see dudes looking to do a show around here. He said somewhere around the Hickory, Winston-Salem area, and I'm definitely get in touch with a drag strip or a circle track, racetrack. If you have one in your area, drag strips are usually great. Ruckus shows held at Fayetteville Motorsports Park, the drag strip out there. And the thing is, those places are known to have noise. So anybody, usually they're in the middle of nowhere, or they're in an area where noise is not going to be a big issue. It's like Hickory Motor Speedway is down here, downtown Hickory. Noise is not an issue there. We get there, make noise all we want. Every now and then we might have a short quiet period because there is a cemetery next door. If they have a funeral that day, sometimes they might want a few minutes of a quiet period. It's never been enough to even affect the show. I know some people like to complain like, oh, I don't want to have to be quiet. Bro, it's the worst I think was maybe like 5 minutes one year. We said, hey, 5 minutes, we're gonna do a quiet time in respect for this funeral that's happening. It's just some common decency. It's not that bad to inconvenience you. When we're there for 8 hours, demoing your life away, just to your heart's content. Just go wild, go ham. So if you be respectful, take 5 minutes out. That ain't no big deal. But yeah, anybody trying to have a show, I highly recommend. Find a drag strip. There's tons around here. We got Mooresville, Moxville.
Have y'all ever tried the fairgrounds?
I could not get into contact with anybody from the fairgrounds. Actually, when I first left, was moving Sundown Show from Claremont, before we got in touch with the track, I tried to get in touch with the Hickory Fairgrounds here. I could not get in touch with anybody. I called, I left voicemails, I tried emails, I tried contacts through the city. I couldn't get anybody to contact me back. I do know the NSPL has some events there. One of the mini trucking guys was the pedal pushers. Right. They have an event there usually at least once a year.
That's great.
By the time I knew they were having events there as well, I didn't need to get any contact information to anybody. We already had a hookup with the track, and we just do ours at the track every year. But if somebody's looking for something pretty inexpensive, the Hickory Fairgrounds I think could work. You just have to get in contact with one of those guys from that truck club and see who their main contact is to go through.
Nice.
All right. I can't believe the questions are still rolling in. We've been going for a while.
Indiana has the loudest cars and the fastest cars in Indiana. Did you know that?
I can believe it. Yeah.
I thought North Carolina had the loudest cars.
Well, if we want to be specific, Soundcheck is in Indiana.
Well,
and that is literally the loudest vehicle on earth. The one single loudest vehicle on earth is that Soundcheck up there. Team Soundcheck, Team Sundown Audio. Yes, they do run all Sundown Audio in there. They're running our compact Neos and a bunch of Salt 8s in an Astro van, and it is the loudest vehicle on earth. Period.
RP.
Period. There's no argument. There's no other, somebody else did this. No. Soundcheck's van is the loudest van on earth.
And it's not a garage score.
It is not a garage score. It is certified. A lot of people like to compare other type of scores, say USAC scores. So in USAC, they do this thing basically their outlaw scores, what we refer to them as. So you put the mic anywhere you want. The basic rules of USAC or any outlaw or scores like that is you're allowed to put the mic anywhere you want forward to the B pillar. That typically means somewhere like the kick panel. Even worse is when it comes to some of these, and I say even worse, I don't want to say like a bad light. Even different is in some of these dedicated vehicles to USAC or these outlaw scores, they will do what's called a pocket. They'll build a pocket, and it's basically just a little hole they build down at their kick panel, and they'll section it off. So, which is why USAC also uses the globe now, because guys were loading the mics up so hard, tucking them in little corners and pockets and things. So now they build these bigger pockets, You have to put the mic in a globe. You can still stick the whole globe in this pocket, and it loads it up very heavy. So you'll see some of these USAC cars, they could literally see a 9-10 dB swing from, say, a DB drag certified score that's going to be vehicle sealed and your mic on the windshield and the DB drag certified location, versus a USAC score, which could be a door open or sealed. You get your option, but putting it in this pocket, that pocket will load that mic super heavy. So it's just not fair. The easiest way to say it, it's not even similar to try and compare scores from a certified DB drag score to a USAC score, but also in the same sense, sound checks outlaw score with no loading pocket, no pocket at all, no loading down there. They can just drop that mic anywhere down there. It is still the loudest score on Earth versus every other vehicle out there, regardless of what organization they compete in or how they meter their vehicle. Period.
They said, but does it play music?
Oh, well, they're bass boxing this year, and bass boxing is ASCA's music class.
Whoops.
So they're going to play music for 30 seconds. Now, it's probably going to be some high-pitched music. I believe they're going to play it in the 70 hertz range, but
Good gracious.
music is music, bro. Now, will it smash the lows?
There's no wasted information there, buddy.
No. No, I believe they're peaking around 73 hertz typically, and they bass box it. They have already done, I'm pretty sure it's a certified 180 dB on music for 30 seconds straight. That is a 30-second average. They've already certified that. And
Get that score before they get disqualified.
yeah, they've got another show coming up real soon. RP's been working hard in the van, posting online, getting his efficiency way up to help get that music score way up.
That's cool.
Let me say it again. Sundown still has the loudest score on Earth.
Earth.
Period.
Universe.
Regardless of how you meter, where you put your mic, what order you compete in. Sundown product, Compact Neos and Solid 8s, has done the highest score. There's no debate. We're 2:41. All right, then we're gonna wrap this up. We've been going for a while.
All right.
Hopefully you got some views over there.
Yeah, I got some views. I just couldn't see any comments. I wasn't really engaging with nobody because I didn't talk
Oh,
about it.
okay.
So I figure.
I have no idea what my Tic Tac's doing up there. It's
It's
just me.
probably like 100K or something.
Nah, I had 1,000 people this morning
Jeez.
just watching a sub move.
Jeez.
So if you're on TikTok, I think tomorrow we'll be on the road, so I won't be online much tomorrow. We'll be on the road, won't be a live feed or nothing like that. We'll be busy all night tonight, getting the truck and trailer set up, getting everything ready to go. Heading to Triple Fest. So this weekend, Muscle Shoals, Alabama, we'll be at Triple Fest. We're taking the big truck trailer, massive setup. We're taking the side by side there. We're gonna have a bunch of stuff on display. Bunch of cool stuff. Come check us out. We'll have all the Powersports stuff on display.
Will you be taking your shirts and stuff? Your
Yep.
shirts?
Yep,
So-
we'll have all kinds of shirts, merch, decals,
Nice.
lanyards, and all the cool swag there for sale. Handling all that. So yeah, if you're in the Muscle Shoals area or want to make the drive there, come see us this weekend at Triple Fest. What else?
That's about it, man.
I guess that's it. So yeah,
Save
don't
stuff for next week.
don't expect much from me on social media tomorrow, but I'm trying to do live feeds, kind of at least once a day on TikTok. I'm trying to do live feeds in the morning and just show some of the dumb shit we do here sometimes.
Well, I'll be doing a live tomorrow, so feel free to check out my TikTok.
Yeah.
Straight clipping.
Go check out Straight Clipping
I'll be up there probably blowing up some stuff, but we won't talk about that.
and your YouTube. Got to get your YouTube up.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah,
Gotta
straight
get his-
clipping.
Help
Yeah.
Kyle get his YouTube watch hours up. That's one of the things he's
Well,
lacking. From
I'm
getting his-
thinking the wasted information bill with Kicker is going to actually help boost that up once I get going. I've got the metal ordered. I've got some wood coming. So hopefully we'll be getting some build progress going on, but right now it's kind of waiting for stuff to come in to start the build. So, but subscribe to the Straight Clipping YouTube and also the TikTok if you don't mind.
Oh, you got the other? You got Instagram?
Instagram,
Facebook,
Straight Clipping,
Straight Clipping.
STR8CLPN.
You got like 12 Facebook pages.
That's right.
This guy's got more Facebook pages than I got kids.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. We're signing out.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna stay down here. I'm gonna do a walk around the sundown.
Oh yeah, do that.
Thanks, Derek. Appreciate you. Have to write this down. All right.
Bam. Yep.